Hi guys, who doesn't want to have a beautiful electronics laboratory like this one? Full of equipment, right? Okay, I will tell you something. I started in electronics when I was 14 years old in the middle of the 80s, 1984. In 1985, I wished to have equipment and I didn't have. So I sold my bicycle that my mother got with a credit, and I think she never forgives me for that because she was paying the bicycle and I sold my bicycle to buy a digital multimeter. And that's how, by the hard way, I started with my dream in electronics, someday become an engineer in electronics and to be great in the subject, right? So it's hard when you don't have all this stuff and when you need to start with the nails, scratching, literally. It happens to me not only once when I was young, it happens to me twice. I will tell you why. Because when I was getting old, I moved from one country to another and I have to leave everything that I have behind and start from zero. And my soldering station was a soldering iron with one dimmer. And I'm talking about 6 years ago, by the moment I'm recording this video. I used to have 2 oscilloscopes and at that moment I didn't have anyone. So my wife got a job in a supermarket in the cash register, and with her salary she bought me this oscilloscope. So as you can watch, as you can understand, life is not always easy, and sometimes the hardness of life can hit us twice. And it's nice when you have components for projects, digital multimeters, in that box everything related with radio frequency, attenuators, 50 ohm lots, stuff like that for the spectrum analyzer, frequency counter, function generators, power factor analyzer, 6 digits and a half multimeter, high frequency function generator, 200 megahertz oscilloscope, analog oscilloscope, radio frequency generator, power supplies, other oscilloscope, 2 multimeters alike to make measurements alike with the same kind of equipment, 4 digits and a half multimeters. So one by one, not only one soldering station, 2 soldering stations, but remember what I told you. 6 years ago, I didn't have this soldering station, so I bought a regular soldering iron and I bought a dimmer for the light, and I was working with that. I started with my nails scratching from zero. Today, there is a lot of equipment, there is a lot of resources. It took about 6 years, but it's done. There is a nice computer to edit videos, 32 gigabytes in RAM, solid state hard disk drive, 1 tera, 4 teras a mechanical hard disk drive, all the stuff, components, area for microcontrollers. So here is where I'm doing the microcontrollers stuff with this computer, sitting there. Under here there is a Raspberry Pi, so I do the Linux projects too on it. But as everything took me many years, life hit me again, and I wanted to share that with you. Today we are going to talk about the equipment we need for electronics, and I am not talking about all these beautiful things we see around. I'm talking about the things we are going to find on this table. To start with, that's the basics. Before everything, I told you guys electronics is about calculus, right? So you will need a scientific calculator. This calculator is when I was a student back in the 80s, and this is the one kind of the modern calculator. There is different brands. This is Casio, and it's one of the most common calculators, kind of top on the line. It's more a scientific calculator, it's not something especially for electronics. But what I want to get in the point is, this is a smartphone, and there is a calculator there, application. And this calculator application is this calculator. And why I want to talk about this? When I was thinking about to make videos, and I remember Matthias Wendel. It's a guy who works in mechanics, and he make a kind of, let's say, second quality video. And he said about the cameras he used to record his videos. And he put all kind of crazy cameras, and he put the smartphone and stuff like that. But I understood, I said a second quality video. I understood the point of the video. Matthias was talking about, you have to start with something. You have to start with what you have. So with this smartphone, I started the channel in YouTube. And this is a wonderful Samsung Galaxy 2. Yes, it's not the 6, 8 or anything like that. It's a Samsung Galaxy 2. And the channel started with that, and videos like the how to use the oscilloscope, oscilloscope step by step, was recorded with this beautiful camera. So today it's more than 50,000 subscribers, 10 million viewers in the videos, but everything started in little. Do you understand the point? So that's the reason I said, forget about all of the stuff you watch there, and let's go with the basics, what we truly need. I still thankful to Matthias Wendel for that video, because give me the keyword about you have to start some way somehow with what you got. Multimeters in electronics. This is one kind of multimeter I will recommend because it has the function for auto, and as I told before, it will prevent you to burn the multimeter. There are cutie, beautiful multimeters like this one. Has also the auto function, and it's a great multimeter you can get nowadays in the market because everything is focused on that way. For the ones who has to deal with 120 volts, 240, this is one of the best multimeters I can recommend you. This kind of multimeter is auto range, and it doesn't have selectable scales, but it's a great multimeter, prevent you to make mistakes, has its own protection. It's a top quality, very, let's say, root. It's not a fancy thing like this on the table, but it will resist the hits you will give when you are learning electronics. And the one that nobody wants to talk about, one multimeter like this. We need two multimeters in electronics, always. Sometimes we have to make the measurement of voltage and the current, so we need two multimeters. But we need one multimeter in the range of the $4–8. If we are going to burn a multimeter by a mistake, you want to burn this one and not those ones. Got it? Oscilloscopes. By the way, this oscilloscope has history. It was my first oscilloscope. I make a video how I got it here back after some years, and it's still with me. 10 megahertz, many kilos to carry it about, but we call it portable oscilloscope. Okay, nowadays we can do the job with something like that. And this is the kind of oscilloscope that is in the budget of one multimeter. Makes a wonderful job, and I strongly recommend you, if you don't have budget to buy a expensive oscilloscope, start with one like that. If you have more money, you can enter with this in the business. This is a dual channel oscilloscope, and this oscilloscope has function generator. We will need a signal generator, so we have to or to make the signal generator ourselves, or to buy some kind of a kit for signal generator. But anyhow, with the videos, with this learning training, we are going to learn how to make the signal generator ourselves. Okay? Power off. Now it's power off. Good. Tools. Guys, tools is one of the places where we spend a lot of money. But to tell you the truth, the most useful screwdriver I use is something like that. And the 6-in-1 in reality is more, because you have the X, and the other side you can apply different kind of tips. And this is one of the investments you can make for $2. Something like that, adjusters or a good Phillips small one, you will need it. Nose pillar and a cable cutter. Later, if you want to go for next stuff, this is a very old rusty one, is a cable pillar. And I have this from the 90s. I bought it in RadioShack many years ago, and it's still around there in the boxes of tools and everything, with the spider net hanging something. But this is an extra investment you can make later. The basic stuff, what you need, is this one. And I want you to prevent you about spending money. Learn to administrate the money. Every time you take $100 bill and you catch it to take $1 from there, the $99 resting are gone too. So try to keep the big bill, so later you can buy the good equipment with the big bills. But the secret is to hold the small coins. Power supplies. We have beautiful sponsored switching power supply, the linear power supplies. Strongly recommended is a huge power supply if you put a big transformer with a bridge rectifier and a capacitor from F near C. But in the meanwhile, if you are poor and starting from zero, this is the kind of stuff you need. The 5 volts adapter. Probably if you can get one of these laptops multi-adapter with different kind of voltage, will be great. One transformer that you can buy, or better pull out from somewhere. And that's it. You got your power supplies to start with. Believe it or not, I always said in electronics the money will be in the programming. So I strongly recommend you get one Arduino. Arduino Uno is where you find more programs and the community share stuff that you can use to learn. That's the reason I recommend you entering Arduino first, later try to jump to PICs and FPGAs and all that stuff. SP32, well, there are many families you can work and deal with. Even the Raspberry Pi with Python programming and Java and stuff like that. This is the Arduino Nano. For both, there is a lot of stuff. This is one base that will help you to make projects. And this is one shield that has the buttons and has the keyboard, and will help you to make a lot of projects. Also, you will need a breadboard. It's very important. There's software simulator in the computer, and you can save a lot of money in software simulation. But only with this one, you will learn to troubleshoot electronics, and you will learn what electronics is doing As I told in the last video, electronics is, if you have a pad, if you have a conductor, is an antenna, is a transmitter, is a receiver, the component itself. One capacitor has inductance, has resistance. One resistor has a capacitance, inductance. The inductance has resistor and capacitor. In little, but they have it, and all of them they affect. And only when you do this kind of stuff is when you learn truly about it. And nevertheless, as I said in the last video, try to make an effort to get one like this. They are in the price of probably $10–20 anywhere in the planet. Is the component tester, and you will need one like that. So by the moment, if you have enough money to buy all this stuff, I will recommend you the top of the line from each one of the equipments. But if you don't have enough to start with, do it as I said. Go with the cheap ones from everything you can, and forget about the expensive ones, and go ahead with everything it is possible to you in the beginning. Later, guys, believe me, with the time, the force, everything comes behind it, and you will get everything you want. Soldering station, okay, nowadays it's not like my years. You will need a kind of soldering station with hot air, and probably later try to invest in more than one kind of tip for the iron. Okay? This is important and is fundamental, you get it. So try to save, ask family for help. Don't be in shame. If you prosper, you can help them in the future. Remember that. So use the opportunities now if you have chance. And now that you knew the equipment we need, we can go for the next video and start learning the basics for electronics. See you in the next video. Let's keep going. Thanks for watching.